Hey, there's a skill I think you should have if you want to work in the world of branding, if you are building a brand, you are working with someone building a brand, or for that matter, you just own a business, you should know this skill. Stay tuned and we're going to talk about what it is. Hi, my name's Andrea Reindl. I am the founder of Legacy Creative and a brand strategist. And one of the skills I think all of us should be working on in the world of business ownership and branding is the skill of storytelling. If you want to get your point across in better time, one of the best things you can do is invest in becoming a good storyteller. Now you might be thinking, hey, why do I need to be a good storyteller? All I do is own a business, or I'm just running a brand, or maybe I'm building a brand. The thing is, being able to tell a story means that you can get your point across in less time. Let me ask you a question. Would your life be easier if you could spend less time making the same point and your listener get it? Humans connect through stories. From the beginning of time, we've been storytellers. We used to sit around fires and tell stories. The Egyptians left hieroglyphics on the walls that were stories. Storytelling is one of the most important skills that you can develop and practice to become a better communicator. All right, so how do you get good at the skill of storytelling? First of all, you need to decide you want to be good at it, that it's a skill you want to develop, and then you're gonna have to practice telling stories over and over and over again. One of the ways you can start to figure out what makes a good story versus not a good story is watch them and read them and become a studier of stories. You can read biographies because they're great stories, or you can just watch great movies and read great stories and notice what makes them really, really good. Just noticing the components of what makes a good story is a great way to become a good storyteller. All right, so if you've decided you want to be a good storyteller and you start watching good stories, now you need to start thinking about what are the components that make a really good story? What are the storytellers doing that makes them a good storyteller? That's a really important thing to watch and pay attention to. And then start practicing storytelling. How do you practice storytelling? I know a lot of times when I work with people on storytelling, they're like, nah, I don't really have any good stories. I'm not a good storyteller. My life is really boring. Well, one of the fun things that you can do as a storyteller is start telling interesting stories about boring subjects. So things that you do every day, that all of us do every day. How can you make a story interesting telling about filling up your car with gas, or checking out at the grocery store, or taking public transit? And of course, that always has some good stories, doesn't it? Maybe even driving, you can tell a story about how someone cut you off in traffic. Start practicing telling stories about the mundane things and see if you can make a boring subject interesting through good storytelling. Another awesome way, if you want to develop your storytelling skills, is go take a weekend comedy class. Comedians are some of the best storytellers that walk the planet. In fact, personally, I think they are the best. I think to be a great stand-up comic, you have to be an amazing storyteller. One of the tactics they use on a regular basis is what's called reduction to the ridiculous, which basically means you take something that is a commonplace, hot topic at the time, and you tell a story, but you reduce it to the ridiculous. So, for example, you might say something like, guess what? I went to the grocery store the other day, I bought 3 grapes, I was checking out, and they cost $1 million. Or you go say, hey, I went to the grocery store and everything's turned into the price of the weight of gold, so I bought a carrot and it was the same price as an ounce of gold. We all know right now, at least at the time that I'm recording this video, that groceries are going up in price and people seem to be talking about it a lot, but grapes don't cost $1 million and we aren't weighing groceries and then charging them at the price of gold. So both of those things are pointing out what's happening in the world, but reducing it to something completely ridiculous to make your point. It's a great tactic to become a good storyteller. Now that I've told you the grape and gold examples, I would love to see some of your own in the comments below. What are some reduction to ridiculous examples of storytelling? Look, if you want to be great at branding, if you want to be great at communicating your message, if you own a business or you work at a business, it's a great skill to have to be a good storyteller. I hope this inspires you to practice telling stories, watch stories, and notice stories all the time. And heck, reduce things to ridiculous if you want. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.